Hey folks, back in the game here. This is going to be a little bit of a jumbled video with my thoughts. It's something I've been thinking about for a while. Um, but the Victor Wembanyama thing that just happened sort of spurred me, but also kind of caught me off guard. So I don't have probably all my thoughts in order that I want to. I likely have a clickbaity type um, thumbnail for this. It's a little bit tongue in cheek. The idea that the minute somebody is injured, that their sports cards go to zero is sort of a it's almost a meme in the hobby, right? Um, but there's some truth to some of it, right? The one of the big issues is that for modern day cards, um, when a incredibly popular in the hobby player comes along, the price of their cards have built-in things, right? Like it's a in Wemby's cards that came out that last year, they're built in for for him to be a multiple-time All-Star, a finals winner, a Hall of Famer. That kind of stuff is just built in because of the craziness of the hobby. um, so it's natural when something happens, like this blood clot that he's got, that he's going to miss the rest of the season for. Um, there's panic and there's selling and there's things like that. I am not going to tell you in this video to sell your Wemby cards. I'm not going to tell you to keep your Wemby cards. You do whatever you would like with your cards. I'm going to tell you what I'm going to do, and the reasoning behind what I'm going to do, and what I might do if I was in a similar situation but slightly different. So let's start out with the fact that I am a believer in Victor Wembanyama. I think he's an absolute generational talent, and I think he's going to do huge things in the NBA. After this news came out, it's possible he never plays a game again. There's a very, very tiny chance of that, but it's possible, right? Any sort of injury, it's possible. If he never played a game again, I wouldn't do anything with the cards I've got. I'd keep them forever. If he's going to come back and play games next year, I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to keep the cards I have, right? For players that I personally collect, for the most part, I'm going to add a little caveat to this, but for the most part, I don't go out and buy 7 of his Prism Silvers in a PSA 10 at $900 each or whatever, and then hope that I'm going to keep them and flip them sometime in the future for $1,000 or $1,500 or whatever my number would be, right? That's not how I collect. For the vast majority of my collection, I pull them out of packs. I will certainly pick up stuff if I think it's a good deal, but I'm never picking up PC cards with the idea that I'm going to flip them. I do sell a lot of cards. I sell an absolute ton of cards. Those are, in general, things that I've pulled and will offset my spending on wax, right? It never comes close to offsetting it. Just a little spoiler, but that's the goal, right? Is to sell the cards I don't want to somebody who wants them, keep the cards I do want. The little caveat to that is that you've seen in prior videos possibly that I am putting together some Wemby sets, specifically the Donruss Spellbound, where you spell out his name, and there's 10 different cards, right? So I'm specifically collecting those. I'm buying them as cheap as I can, right? And then I'm slabbing them up. In some cases, I'm actually buying them pre-slabbed, but I am not buying them so I can, in a year or 5 years or whatever investment timeline people think they have, I'm not doing that to flip those. I don't have any problem with anyone who does that. I know there's lots of people in this space who look down on people who buy cards and flip them or whatever. Look, do what makes you happy. I don't care if it doesn't affect me. The the point I guess I'm trying to make is there's this overreaction a lot of times in the hobby, and I don't know, maybe sometimes it's warranted. It's probably more warranted on modern cards because of the price built in, right? Think about people who spent thousands and thousands of dollars on Wander Franco cards, right? All of a sudden, they're worthless. I don't expect that Wemby cards are going to be worthless. I expect that he's going to come back, and this is an isolated incident. And I'm always a look on the more positive side kind of guy, at least in the hobby. Maybe not in my regular life. Anyway, I just thought I'd talk about this a little. I've seen a couple other people talk about it, notably a guy that I follow. And if you don't, you should. Neo Cards and Comics. He has a ton of really good like sort of news about the industry, and I enjoy his content. But he'd kind of pointed out that one of the measuring sticks that he uses is the PSA 10 silvers of whoever he's looking at, and what those prices are doing. He's got some websites that have graphs and track history and things like that. I don't have anything like that. I thought I'd pop onto eBay just for a second and see what's going on. The search isn't great because it's seemingly ignoring this 136 after about the 5th line or so. 10th, well, it was the first time I looked at it. Oh, it's got cracked ice in there too. So I glanced through this, and the cheapest one I saw for buy it now was $700. It looks like they've been going for $750 to $900 lately, and 700 one is sitting there and it hasn't been sold. So make of that what you will. Over here on the recently sold, there was a 700 earlier today. There was a 775 earlier today. There was an 839 yesterday. 2 839s yesterday. I'm not sure. That's weird. Back to back. I'd have to investigate. I don't know. Anyway, so it looks like maybe they're selling, slightly down. If you are someone that is inclined to go out and spend, $30,000 on a card and hope that it goes up to $60,000 at some point or whatever, and you believe in Wemby, this is probably a time to buy low. I'm certainly going to look to see if there's anything out there that I don't have that I would like that is cheaper than it would have been. But I'm not going to go searching, and I expect sort of what Neo Cards and Comics said was that there will be this initial rush with somebody as popular as Wemby, where the people who are going to dump will dump, and then after that, the market's going to dry up a little bit, and maybe the prices go back up. And honestly, this is all a guess, right? There's no blueprint for any of this, and I'm really only commenting on this. So I wanted to do this for a while, but I'm upset that the first opportunity I get to do this is a guy that I personally collect. It's a little bothering to me. Again, as I've stated a bunch of times, I'm buying, unless there's some sort of emergency where I need, a lot of cash very fast, and selling cards wouldn't be very fast, but you get the idea. If there's some sort of emergency with my family where I needed the money, that's the only conceivable situation where I would sell my PC players. I fully expect that, they'll be passed down to my children, and hopefully my children's children, and whatever, however that goes. Something I'm gonna make another video about sometime in the future is one of the reasons that I like PSA is because PSA gives a premium. Currently, a PSA card in a 10 is a premium over a 10 of anything else, or 9.5 of anything else, right? And assuming that stays true forever, even if I'm not the one who sells my cards in the future, someday they're going to get sold. That's whether it's the day I die and my children sell them, or 300 years from now when whatever. Somebody sometime is going to sell them. That nothing stays with, you know, um, nothing stays where you think it will go when you no longer have control, right? Uh, and that's a little. I'm not going to go down that rabbit hole. I've got a long video that I'm going to talk about that, but um, anyway, got way off topic. So really, I just kind of want to talk about what your thoughts are for something like this. I know a lot of the people that follow me are not really into basketball cards. I know that's sort of a smaller portion of my following. But if you're a guy that's collecting Wemby, what are you going to do? Is this something that scares you? Um, is it something where maybe you have some that you were planning on flipping someday and now you're worried? Is it something that doesn't phase you at all? Let me know in the comments. I'm just interested to talk about it, I guess. And sorry for the little jumbled video. I normally would have a chance to gather my thoughts a bit more, but I wanted to get this out today while it's still fresh. And I'm pushing a couple of videos back for it. Um, anyway, thanks a lot for watching. If you're new here, please click subscribe. It certainly helps me out. Likes help me out. Any of that stuff helps me out. And I appreciate you watching. Thanks a lot. Have a great day.